Hey everybody, I think it's go time. Oh, thank you for that that host, Walterbare 2022. That'll do. All right. Hello and welcome. It is Monday, January 4th, 2015. I'm your host Rashiwi, and this is Q Popped. I'm happy to be back with y'all for a revamped show with many upgrades, including my audio setup, which you can see here, very nice, and the fact that the Twitch and YouTube versions will now be video, as you can see. This is now a solo project. I really appreciate all the help that I had to begin with, and it took me a lot of work and a lot of practice, and I'm so glad that that we can be doing this now. And I want to give a shout out to everyone who supported me over the last few months in donations, as well as everybody who bought the t-shirt in my Teespring campaign. We made enough money to cover the upgrades, so I really appreciate that. Unfortunately, we're only going to cut a couple episodes here in this week and next week, and that will probably be it, and we will have to take another break because my wife is scheduled for a C-section to give birth to our first newborn child on January 14th, which is next Thursday, 10 days from now. So it's going to be very hectic for at least a couple weeks. We're going to get a lot of help, and I own my own business, so we can raise the child there. So we'll have lots of time with it, and we won't have to worry about babysitters or anything. But for sure, there's going to be a lot of sleepless nights, and I may not be on point, so we may have to change that up. Yeah, a little baby rage. Today, we will have Walterbare as our guest. He's BlizzCon competitor of Team Splice and a whole bunch of other stuff. Really cool. But first, I'd like to give you guys a little bit of news. In the past week, MLG has been bought out or acquired by Blizzard. Major League Gaming, the once almighty American esports organization, has been bought out by Activision Blizzard in a $46 million, which is 31 million euros deal. MLG will be dissolved as part of the deal, so MLG is gone. And this actually strikes me a whole lot. I'm actually using an MLG mousepad right now. My very first esport event that I ever went to was an MLG in Dallas, and I went to a couple of those, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I followed StarCraft at the time. It was right after WoW was taken out of the lineup, but I followed a lot of cool StarCraft people. I got to meet Huck, Idra, In Control, and a couple of the Koreans. It was right before the Koreans entered the scene, but there were a couple. So it was a lot of fun, and I will really miss it, and all the free Dr. Pepper, and the girls that give out the Dr. Pepper. So if any of you have been to an MLG, you will know what I'm talking about. But MLG has struggled in the recent years following its early success in tournaments like StarCraft 2, Call of Duty, and World of Warcraft, Halo. Halo was their big center stage for a long time, and it actually had to seek financial help. They were in debt, and they had to get financing to the tune of about $6 million to meet its financial obligations. In October, MLG also lost the hosting rights to Call of Duty, which it wasn't ever its main event, but there was a humongous following, I remember, for that. We went to the first, and it's kind of interesting with Call of Duty because basically every tournament that I went to for MLG, Call of Duty was there, but it was always a different game. It was Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3, and then the next one, and it was always changing. I mean, it was the same game, but you know, Activision Blizzard, they do own Call of Duty, so adding that to adding MLG's assets to part of the roster is very good. What can I say about it? Is that MLG's assets are likely to be used for the gaming league that Blizzard has rumored for the past few months. We've heard talks about that, and I think that's a great thing. Activision Blizzard now owns 6 franchises with established or possibly established esports. They've got StarCraft 2, Call of Duty, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, World of Warcraft, and likely Overwatch coming. So it's gonna be big. So if they start their own gaming league, they already get 6 franchises that are just ready to go. And I know Overwatch hasn't really started. There's been no tournaments, but I mean, anybody that's seen it or played it knows it's going to be an esport. So I haven't been able to stream this podcast in, what, about 2 months now. November 23rd was the last episode, and that was Yips. We had Yips on, and he was great, did a great job. But I noticed a few things. The people that were helping with the podcast, they weren't as enthused as I was to drop a bunch of money on new equipment and to pay for the SoundCloud, because you have to pay to have the SoundCloud over a certain amount of hours. And that is also how we get it on iTunes. That's also how we get it on every single podcast app: Stitcher, Podcast Addict, Podbean. I think you name the RSS feed goes from SoundCloud. So I know SoundCloud's not big with a lot of people, but that is how it gets everywhere else. And so to pay that monthly fee plus do some upgrades costs a lot. And I never asked the other guys for any money, but I could just tell that they either didn't want to or weren't into a situation to where they could afford to do those kind of upgrades, which I totally understand. You know, everybody's at a different point in your life. I'm 28. I own my own business. I've been married for 6 years. I'm pretty established, and I understand that not everybody can do things like that. So a little bit about me, since we're doing a whole revamped show. I hold the record for having the most duelist titles. I'm joking, but seriously, Season 3 was my first duelist. I've never got higher than that. And it's just duelist expansion after expansion after expansion. I started out playing a Boomkin back in Season 2. And now, during MOP, everybody was able to multi-class a little bit more. And so I switched to a Feral Druid because they were really good at the time, and Instant Cyclone and everything. Just like Walterbare, I guess, today. And I really enjoyed the style of it then. I didn't like the way Boomkin had changed, and so I started playing that. But then I started multi-classing, and I got 2200. Yeah, whoop-de-doo, 2200. But I got 2200 on, Mage. I played a Holy Priest and a Feral Druid, and it was a lot of fun. And I like multi-classing, and I'll probably never, well, I know I'll never be at the very top of the tier, but Duelist is fun. That's high enough for me, 2400. But somebody did ask what I played, so I thought I'd go ahead and give an insight. I've done guides over the years. I ran a podcast back in 2008, I think, called PV Pro, and it had, I don't know, YouTube was pretty good back then. There was no Twitch, so I don't know, the YouTube videos got 30,000 or something, but it only lasted one episode, and we could never do that. I got married afterwards, and I finished school, and a whole lot of other stuff changed. So, but I have been doing a lot of stuff. I'm moderator on the World of PvP subreddit, and you can check that out. There's some stuff. It's not very active, just like everything else in World of Warcraft PvP, but there's enough stuff going on that you can get by. And I made some guides for casual players or people that have either never played the game or never PvP'd in the game. Very thorough guides, but if you're above 1900, it's not worth your time reading. You're already probably better than that if you ended up making it to this stream and you love it just as much as I do. The only bit of news that I had besides MLG, not a lot has happened recently. We've had some Legion updates, but everybody's kind of talked about that, and we even kind of talked about that on our show before. But the other thing that's happened is GCD TV, which if you watch my past episodes, you know that I'm a humongous fanboy of D Machine and Clutter and everything that they do. But they have started a pro league, and they have these tournaments all the time, and it is a whole lot of fun. And I hope that anybody that listens, that's an old listener to my podcast, that hasn't checked out their pro league, it is entirely worth watching. They have, it's a winter league, and it's going to be 9 weeks with 5 bi-weekly tournaments, and that's a ton of World of Warcraft to get. I mean, that's a ton for us, because we usually get BlizzCon, and then maybe somebody else will venture, throw some money into another tournament, and then that's all we'll get. We'll get nothing else. But now we get a pro league. We're part of the big boys, just like the other games, StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, League of Legends. We got our own pro league now. It's all thanks to D Machine, and a big shout out to him. We really love him and everything that he does, even though his internet is not always on par. His spirit is willing, but his internet not so much all the time. But how the GCD TV Pro League works is the 8 teams who accumulate the most GCD points will be invited to the finals of a final tournament just for that, for the top 8. Teams whose roster swap 2 or more players after the season begins will lose 50% of their accumulated GCD points, which we've seen teams switch. Most notably, it comes to my mind, is Method Orange. They switched several times, and I didn't even see them in the roster for next week, so I don't know if they're done. Maybe David can give some insight on that. And by David, I mean D Machine. Total points will then be divided evenly between all players on the roster if they choose to join or reform to new teams. The finals will be a single elimination tournament and seeded by the performances in Stage 1, which is the bi-weekly kind of elimination tournaments. Excuse me, I drank a couple beers before we started this, and now I got to burp a little bit. The current point leader, right now I checked, is Cloud9, which features Roasties, Gareki, Cubsy, and Wealthy Man. Gareki's the new player, so to speak, wasn't with them during BlizzCon. Great multi-classer, great player, great addition to the roster of their team, and lets them play that FM Pala. The next tournament will have 14 teams duking it out in a tournament, which is tournament number 4, on January 9th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/GCDTV. So if you're listening later on, mark your calendar, make sure you're following them, and you see when they come live. So without ado, I will go ahead and do a small introduction to Walterbare. I'm sure he's here. I'll do the introduction before we get him on. We can get him on. We'll call him. Hello there.
Hey, how's it going?
Very well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a bit sick, but I'm good.
Bit sick.
Yeah, I have a cold. As
You
you can maybe tell from my voice.
You don't have the Elbereth sickness?
No, I don't think so.
Oh. Well,
Yeah, never mind.
do you have a camera you would like to display?
Yeah, I can do that. Hold on. How do I...
I changed your name on Skype, so
There we go.
it's no big deal.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. Oh, we gotta
Nice.
move you just a bit. You're so pretty. What a good-looking bear. Okay,
Nice.
I'll do a little introduction for you. You'll like this. Matthew Walterbare McFarlane is a feral druid on Team Splice, formerly known as Follow Esports, alongside Jellybeans, Absturge, and Vassal. Their team competed in 2015 at BlizzCon. They're in fifth, sixth place. They didn't have a qualifier or a tournament to decide who gets fifth or sixth, but fifth, sixth. This team also brought home first place at MGN tournament in November, and you guys have also competed quite a bit in a GCD TV. Didn't you take second? Is that right? In one of the
Um,
tournaments?
yeah, the best we've been in most GCDs because Splice wants us to play in all of them basically. But we've the best we've done is second place.
I think second place is awesome, and I think even
Yeah,
somebody
it's
tweeted
not
out
bad.
to you that it was good. Wasn't it Jamili? I think maybe said something like that, or maybe it was Rosie's. One of the mages said, "Don't feel bad for second place." And
Oh, I think that was Jaw. I'm pretty sure he was trolling though.
I would take anything he says dead serious, just because you never know.
He's a very serious person,
He's,
Jamili.
yeah, yeah, not a troll at all.
No.
You've also been the highest rated Feral Druid in North America for 4 seasons. And I tried to look up your multiple rank one titles.
I finished the seasons as the highest.
Yeah, yeah, you finished
Yeah. Finished.
finished the season
Yeah.
as the highest Feral Druid in North America. And I thought it was funny you actually put in the US on your Twitch. And you don't even live in the US, but you still have that
Did I
habit
put
of
US? It should
yeah,
be in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you put US. I thought that was funny. And I don't know how many rank one titles you've had because I couldn't find your characters on BattleNet. I don't know if you have them hidden or if I'm just stupid or illiterate, but I couldn't seem to find it.
I changed up the names and
Okay.
that's my why.
Okay. Well, I even looked up the one you were playing, your alt, and I couldn't even find it in the Garfield.
But no, my first season getting Glad was season 13, and then season 14 and on are the seasons that I finish as highest, and those are the seasons I got rank one in.
Okay, I'm trying to remember because there's been so many years. Season 13 was the second season of
Yeah,
Mists
that
of
was the second.
Pandaria
Yeah, yeah.
when they had the trance and stuff, right?
Stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
remember.
was good stuff.
I was very happy about that. That was right after they took out Instant Cyclone, which
That's basically what got me into like playing competitively and taking WoW PvP serious.
really. So
A little
you
part
are
of it.
from you're from Calgary, Canada,
Yep.
which is also well a little suburb. Vinruki lives in Calgary, just real
Yeah.
close. And
He lives about an hour away, I think, though. It's pretty
there's
far.
there's somebody else that lives really close, and he said at one point, and now I can't.
Ansel lives here too.
Hansel, that's it.
Yeah.
Boy, I would have liked to have been in Calgary last weekend when he did that ghost pepper challenge. I bet all the snow melted
Oh,
in the
that
whole
was
area.
it's
It was
fun.
it was disgustingly amazing. I couldn't get over how terrible it was. I
He's
just
a
wanted
funny
to cringe.
guy. He's very like
Oh, he's got a
energetic.
huge, yeah, huge character, big personality. Um, okay, so we've done an introduction, but I would like to know like how you got started. When did you start playing WoW?
I started playing WoW when I was 13. I think it was like a few months before Burning Crusade came out.
Okay, so it's still
Um,
vanilla.
I had been playing Final Fantasy 11 before, which is
Yeah,
it's another MMO, and
yeah.
I had been very adamant that like Final Fantasy 11 was the best MMO. There's no way I'm playing WoW. And I had a friend who had been playing WoW for a bit on his own, and he told me to come, like I would hang out with him when I was a kid. And he got me to come over, and he basically put me on his computer and told me to like play for an hour. And then after that, I just, it's WoW. You get hooked. You play
Just
WoW
fell
for an
in love.
hour, and you're done. Yeah,
Yeah, didn't even know you liked it, but you liked it.
I loved it.
That's
It was
funny you
great.
bring up Final Fantasy. I actually started playing Final Fantasy. I would have been a senior in high school, and
Final Fantasy 11?
yeah, Final Fantasy 11,
Oh, that
and
game was
I
so. I
I
love that.
subscribed to it, and I don't know what the fuck happened, but it would never let me play the game, and it literally took me a year to get my credit card off of that game, and I kept getting charged, and I ended up having to like fight it.
I
Like,
remember, yeah, I remember it was a crazy process to like log into the game and like get it downloaded and stuff. They had all these different like I don't know, screening things where you had to put your password in like 3 times.
I all I know is that I paid probably $150 for that game between the sub and actually buying the game, and I never played 1 second of the actual game. I logged in and I saw the cool, pretty.
Did you never play it?
No,
Because it's dead now, but
yeah, no, I never got to play it, and I
yeah.
owned it, and I ended up Like I didn't even get it refunded. I ended up actually having to pay all that money and never got to play 1 minute because I don't know, I'm stupid and I was 17 and but I called and called and called them. You know, it took forever to get all that settled out.
Yeah.
So you started playing right before Burning Crusade. So you probably got into it. I mean, right when Arena
Well,
started,
yeah.
right?
But I never played Arena until I guess I dabbled in it a bit since Burning Crusade, but I honestly played like in Burning Crusade I probably played like 10 Arena games and I had no idea what I was doing. And it was the same with Wrath. Actually, Wrath was a bit different. I played a bit more. I got 1800 with a real life friend. I don't know, but yeah, I never took WoW too seriously until I guess MoP.
So what did you do in the game? Were you a dungeon grinder, just level, or
I was just casual, I guess. I liked PvP. PvP was like my favorite thing to do, but I didn't have the time to commit and get good at it, basically. I liked World PvP a lot. That was my favorite thing to do in Wrath.
so a couple years pass? You're probably 15, 16 when Wrath comes out.
Yeah.
Still in school, still working the grind. Then you get out of school and it's about Kata, and then you started playing seriously during Kata.
No, Kata was I was in high school. I think I was in grade 10 when Kata came out. I'm not sure. But that was I guess when I started to get better at the game. And but I still only played with real life friends when I was doing like competitive stuff. Like that's when I started to do arena. And I got 2K with two of my real life friends that don't play anymore, and they haven't played for a few years, but I got 2K with real life friends and then we kind of capped out, and I never really wanted to get in Skype and like or Ventrilo or whatever it was back then and
Yeah,
play
yeah,
with people I didn't know because I thought that was kind of just odd.
yeah. And even now, like I somehow have managed to keep a group of friends who still play sort of semi-competitively, and I feel really lucky for that. I mean, I got
Yeah.
I got 2300 in twos with a guy that I've been playing with in real life since Burning Crusade. So and I know it's twos, but whatever. I mean, we've still been able to like compete at some level, and that's a whole lot of fun because the LFG. I don't know if you've had to use it much since you've been rank one like since it
I
came
don't think
out.
I've used it once. Yeah.
It
I've never
is the
used it.
most frustrating thing ever. Like you will get into a session, you'll play with these guys. They'll act real nice at first. You link your achievements, and people get mad at me because like your achievements stay the same. Like they don't replace if you
Yeah.
get higher again. So I've got 2400 from Wrath of the Lich King, and they're like, "Oh, you were just an old man that was good in 2010, and now you're terrible." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm signing up for a 2K group. I don't think I've got more than 500 points worse, but maybe so because
Yeah.
the rating meta changes so much every season. And 2200 one season is like 2K the next.
It
So,
does change a lot. Yeah, with inflation and everything, it's hard to say.
but LFG is an amazing thing, and I'm glad they put it in, and it's really good for the game. But
Yeah.
it's terrible.
It at
Like
least gives you, if you have nobody to play with, at least it gives you that, right? So,
I can only think of just a few people that I've played more than one session with.
really,
Like
yeah.
they'll always say, "Yeah, man, at me, that was really good." We pushed to want 30 points or 50 points or whatever, and you're at 2K or something, and then like you add them, they add you, and you always message them. Nah, you never play together ever again. I can't remember one instance where I ever played with another person. So,
Yeah.
so are you really excited for Legion that's about to come out? About to come out
Um,
in 8 months? What a
I'm
downtime.
I'm definitely excited, even if it's a bad game and like WoW PvP is even worse than it is now, which is like totally possible. I'm just like a WoW fan, so just playing a new expansion is always fun for me. Like I enjoy like the questing and everything. So there's that, and then the changes to Feral actually look really good. They were
Yeah,
gonna take out Clone, but apparently now they've like reverted that, I guess.
yeah. I was about to say, they took maybe they just hadn't told us yet. I don't know, but no, for sure, it was gone in our minds for a while, and now it's back. And there was a lot of hate for that. I was as soon as
Yeah,
I read that, I was like, I got
it was a
11
terrible.
classes. What am I gonna play next expansion?
Yeah.
You know, so
If they removed Clone from Feral, that would be just a terrible change. Feral's already getting so simple compared to how it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the classes need more depth, man. That's the problem with WoD. Well, a big problem with WoD is like, wow, it's such a like it's a fairly slow-paced game. Like it's not like League. So if you don't have enough abilities and enough things you can do differently than other people, it just gets stale really quickly.
Yeah, that was one of the big things that I critique on, and I don't critique on a lot of stuff very hard. But I mean, if
Yeah.
League of Legends or Here the Storm went from 5 abilities to 3, and there would be, I mean, nobody would play it anymore. And we lost about that much. I mean, we lost 20% of our abilities for the most
Yeah.
part. And there was a lot of stupid stuff that needed taken out, like symbiosis, stuff like that.
Yeah, but yeah, the stuff like that, that should have just been like balance changes though.
Yeah,
But the stuff that really bothered me was making like rotations simpler. Like damage rotations they weren't too, I honestly don't think they were too complex that it was like something that was hard to learn really, but at least it took like a while for a player to get really good at it. There's some kind of like intuitive like I don't know the word I'm thinking of, but like you'd play the class for long enough and you'd actually just naturally get better at it. Like you'd get the pacing of it and stuff better.
yeah, and it felt like this. I mean, I don't know. In Mop, the skill cap wasn't like crazy high or anything, but I seriously felt like there was so much to learn. I mean, you had to learn your class and everybody else's class, and now I feel
Yeah.
like you can just kind of know what you're doing, and that's. I mean, you can play at 70% like skill cap now, with just knowing what you're doing and doing damage.
Yeah. Well, it's simple to know like what all the classes do and stuff. Like they all have a few big cooldowns and that's all you really need to know, right?
I think the biggest like spell change for me that really upset me the most was that they removed Pounce and implemented Rake into it. And it feels
Yeah.
so like it works just fine, but I don't know. That seemed like such a weird, silly change. Like what you remove cheap shot and make hemorrhage stun when you're in stealth. Like that'd be the
Yeah.
same thing. So goofy.
I just don't like that they baked everything into Rake. Like now it's Pounce, it's our combo point building bleed, and it also is like our big burst. I don't know. It's too much stuff, and also like Savage Roar gets reset.
Yeah.
It just makes the class like too simple. It's just the one button that all you need to know is press that and you'll do well, right? Especially with Incarnate. You press that on everybody and the whole team rots and you get Savage Roar up and you don't really have to manage anything or think about anything.
Somebody did ask. I posted a little like questionnaire deal, and somebody did ask, "How many times did you break your nose hitting incarnation?"
It's
And
a good question. I don't know. I haven't broken it yet, but
I think that might have been Glinks. I think that actually might have been Glinks. I'm not sure. He either asked that or when were you gonna do an ERP bear cosplay stream? Something.
one day I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I keep talking about that. I'll do it eventually.
But there
Maybe
is
not ERP, but
so like one of the things that every single person that I've heard talk about says that PvP seasons need to be shorter, much shorter,
yeah,
and that is one of the things that they say they are going to do. So
that would be great.
that's big time. Of course, the one thing that I'm super worried about is that they're splitting up titles at the end of the season between Horde and Alliance, and I know what that's going to do. Like it's just going to make people whatever they're going to put a time limit on. You're not going to be able to switch for like the last 10 days, 20 days, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to switch at the last moment, and you're not going to
I
know where
really
anybody's sitting.
I don't understand why they need to do that. I don't think it really bothers PvPers that we're all one faction. Like if you want to play Horde, you can play Horde, but they shouldn't you shouldn't be rewarded for doing that. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I think for Arena, they should just let us play Horde with Alliance. Like, let that be a thing for Arena because you already have
Yeah,
Horde killing Horde
yeah.
and Alliance killing Alliance, so it's not going to break the lore for
Yeah.
for whatever reason. I think that would be the way to do it. And every class that their best is Horde. If they're a Death Knight or a Windwalker monk or something, they just be Blood Elf, and other people be human, and Druids all be Night Elves, and
Yeah.
world will just be a happy place.
Because you already have the mercenary mode for Astron and stuff, right? So why
Yeah.
not do that for Arena?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's like a terrible change. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. But we'll see. Maybe it'll end up being a really good thing, and we'll look back on today and laugh. I doubt it.
It does bother PvPers. Well, I don't know. Among like my group of friends and the people I play with, none of us have really cared about that.
I think the majority of the people don't, and I think anybody that is horde right
It is
now.
like I understand that it's like it's kind of like variety is fun and stuff, but
Hmm.
I feel like everyone's gonna always go for the cookie cutter spec, and if I don't know,
And
that's something I gotta think about. I think.
I think I think if one faction is just like a little tiny bit better, or if it's close, everybody's still going to be one faction. Like everybody wants to be able to play together, at least at the top
Yeah,
level,
that's true.
and then everybody's going to watch the streams and they're going to do the same thing anyway. I mean, in MOP, everybody was Horde and Alliance was a little bit better then, so I mean, it's
Yeah.
I don't know. And then everybody just decided to switch. All I know is that I'm not dropping the whatever $150 or actually it's way more than that, like $300 to transfer all my tunes again. So I'm staying. I don't give a fuck what happens. It's
Yeah.
not worth the money.
Yeah.
So, do you have any opinions on the prestige thing?
On which?
The prestige. So once you hit
Oh.
honor level 50, you'll get to go back. And I'm wondering, like, if you're really wanting to make a huge difference at the competitive level like you are and be at the very top, like, you're not going to want to prestige. You're going to want to keep all those talents. It's going to make it a big
Well,
deal.
the thing about that is somebody like me who like I want to take it seriously and have all my talents. Say I'm having like a weekend where I don't want to PvP seriously, or like there's like a week where I'm so bored of arena. I don't know. I like it. I think it just gives you something extra you can do if you want to.
It's kind of going
And
to
I
depend how
think,
long it takes, too. I mean, if it takes you a month to get
yeah, that's
that,
true. That's true. Hopefully it doesn't take too long because I think that would be kind of bad.
yeah.
But I think it's really good for the game. I think I said this in the Queue Up
Hmm.
podcast that I think lower level PvPers need more incentive, like more just small rewards and stuff. So just anything you can work towards is good. Like that I used to play Call of Duty and the prestige system. I didn't always do it, but it was always there and it was something to do. Like it just I don't know. I like it.
I agree with that. And they say you're going to get mounts and titles and cosmetics and stuff. So for somebody who's
Yeah.
like not going to play, like I'll not play for like 2 months competitively, and then I'll like play one queue session, and I'll just cap the rest of the weeks. So something
Exactly.
like that is great for me because I don't have time to do anything else.
Yeah, and it
Like,
gives you something to like if you just want to relax and do battlegrounds for fun, like it gives you something to do, right?
yeah.
Makes you feel like you're progressing towards something, even if you're just relaxing.
Well, judging by chat, we have a lot of animosity on
How about the faction?
the faction change, and I know that guy, and I haven't talked to him in a long time, but he like was born undead, and he will be undead for the rest of his life, and he makes the coolest like rogue gank videos. So it makes a
The
whole
thing
lot of
about
sense.
that to me though also is like if you want to be a top PvP like top level arena player, you're already not playing like the race that you want to play necessarily.
Yeah,
Like
right. I agree.
I don't know. Sometimes I want to play like Tauren or something like that, but I already play Night Elf because I want the racials. So
I did
I
play
don't know. I
Torn
think
for a
it
little bit last season. I played a couple. I played like 2 or 3 sessions with Snuts, and we got to play FLS because like nobody was Horde, so I got to play that with him.
yeah.
And actually, Torn was super fun. Like War Stomp was really cool in a couple of scenarios. I don't know, but yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the only way to do that is to literally take out racials. I mean, and then
Yeah.
everybody gets to play what they want, you know. But I still think, like I said, I think everybody's gonna like swing to one side. It might not be 90%, but it's still gonna be a huge majority, just because that's where everybody is, and that's where your streamers are. And streaming is such a huge part of the game now. Like people want to play with those people, and even if it's on their alts, even if it's Swifty, Bajira, like playing on their alts, like they want to play with them and get in their guild. So I think
Yeah.
people are gonna go wherever the people they like and play with and watch are.
Yeah.
We have a few new arenas. I know you guys talked about this a little bit on that
Did
other
we?
cube.
I actually
Well, D Machine brought it up a little bit.
I think somebody yeah, maybe he mentioned it, but I haven't heard about this really.
He said he was super excited. Uh, the one of them, whenever you first enter the arena, you'll be encased in a dome of vines. When the match starts, those vines will retreat, leaving the starting area exposed to the rest of the arena.
Interesting.
In the center, you'll find three statues, which can be used to break line of sight. However, these statues are located very close together, so you'll need to keep moving if you want to play defensively. Some a cool definition. I mean, you really have to see it and play it to know.
Yeah,
They had some pictures, but it wasn't a whole lot.
I like variety, but I don't know. I don't like a lot of people don't like gimmicky maps because it kind of just it's annoying to lose when something dumb happens with the map. Like a lot of people don't like Blade's Edge because it just favors certain people a lot more than others, and that's kind of unfair. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
I like the sound of that.
do you hate Typhoon as much as I do? Like, does it not work as much as it
Oh,
does for you?
yeah, it's awful.
Like, every day I'm like,
It's
man, I
terrible.
should just
It's
switch to Fairy Swarm. This would be so much better, and I never do because I'm
no,
like, oh, I
it's
could kick one cast, but
it's still better because of just like the interrupting cast and the
yeah,
like applies days and stuff. But it was I think it was at the start of WoD they changed it. They changed the like arc that it sends people when you like with the knockback. It used to be a lot higher. Like they would go a lot higher. And so on maps like Blade's Edge, you'd actually send them over the side instead of just like pushing them forward.
yeah,
Because now when you use it on Blade's Edge, they just hit the side of the bridge and it
yeah.
doesn't really do
They
anything.
literally have to be on top of that little lip
Yeah.
there, down to where, and like I don't know. Sometimes I'll be on ruins, and I'll hit them, and there won't be anybody else that can knock off. No hunter, no Ellie shaman, and they still just don't move. Like
Yeah.
I'm so
It's really it's
frustrating.
not yeah.
And actually, in line with that, I think parry and dodge is still a big deal in the game. Like
Yeah, that's
without
really
using a
frustrating.
cooldown. Like I get it during evasion, I get it during dive of the sword, but like when
Yeah.
my opener just parries
Yeah.
on a like a
Losing
cloth,
games on that is very, very frustrating.
that's so upsetting. Like, I don't know how many times like well I didn't get pulled out. I went the right way and tricked
Yeah.
him, and then I hit him on the side, and they parried it with their little staff because they're a priest.
I actually lost a game earlier today because somebody dodged my stun when I had like perfect setup.
Like I want to table flip this 300-pound desk. I feel like I could if I was that mad. Like just at that right there, I scream all the time about that. I like don't get upset about a lot of things. I have a pretty good question, and I know you won't have the answer, but it's something to think about. Transmog is such a big deal right now, and I, for one, I was a BC baby, so I love the Burning Crusade gear.
Yeah.
How are we going to be able to buy that? Just gold? Because honor is going to be gone completely. There will be no more honor. So are we not going to be able to
Interesting.
buy legacy gear?
I'm sure it'll still be in the game. It has to be. It'll just be
Gold,
gold,
or
probably.
maybe that'll be part of their prestige system. You
Maybe,
get
yeah.
stuff
Gives you
unlocked.
access to a vendor or something if you
Yeah,
have the right prestige.
yeah. But I hadn't. I looked for an answer on that. I couldn't find it. Um,
That'd be too weird, I think, if they just removed old gear like that.
yeah, if something unexpected is going to happen, that's going to be really hard. Like you would kind of want to know because you might want to grind out that set of gear that
Yeah.
hadn't got on a certain character beforehand.
Yeah.
While it's easier. Um, One big question I have, and especially after listening to you today and on Q Pop or Q Up, I don't even know which podcast I'm on. One thing I want to know is, like, is the game still fun?
Um,
Because I know we just play it because we play it
yeah,
every day and we're attached to it or
it's
addicted
a
to
good
it or whatever you want to
question.
use.
No, I
Like, you,
think I think it is still like it's tons of fun. It's just it's very frustrating now, especially when you've been playing for a long time and like we all remember you could queue into a counter comp and you'd be able to outplay them.
yeah,
But now it's just it's so rock paper scissors and players are like they're almost immediately getting to like a high like the skill cap of their class. Maybe not the skill cap, but they're getting good enough at it immediately because it's so simple that they can just re-roll like Windwalker DK or something and immediately just they kill Absturge like in the opener, which is like kind of a joke because Absturge has been playing forever. He's probably the best resto shaman in the game. He is,
yeah.
and it's just it doesn't matter who's playing Windwalker DK. A lot of the times he'll just die no matter how like how well we play.
And I think like balance is a big issue in every game. I mean, in League of Legends, you have heroes that are better. Same with Heroes of the Storm. Even Hearthstone, like one deck will be too easy, but it is so unbelievably exaggerated in
Yeah.
WoW that like that is all anyone ever talks about is DKOP, like or
Yeah.
whatever. And like they'll talk about a comp like, oh, your RMD that's so face roll. You don't even have to have fingers to play that comp. Like you
I
just
think for tournaments and stuff, it's not for tournaments and stuff it's kind of annoying because every team is like Mage Pally because that comp is just any like Mage Pally anything is just really strong. But if you're on ladder, I feel like it's actually not too poorly balanced right now. Like I feel like as long as you're playing a decent class and spec, which most things in the games most things in the game have one of those have has a viable spec, and you can pretty much like I don't know. I'm just trying to say like basically every decent spec you can get high rated with. Like we have comps. It's very rock paper scissors now. So you might have a bad queue session one day just because of what's queuing. And yeah, sorry, I kind of like completely lost my train of thought there.
no, and I think
You kind of know what I'm saying though? Like
yeah, and a lot of people
the
think that
balance isn't that bad.
yeah, a lot of people think that every single spec needs to be balanced, and people will
Yeah.
argue that every single spec needs to be viable. And I think that if every class has at least one viable spec, then they're fine. Like almost every class has two. Druid, every like all three
Yeah.
are great right
Exactly.
now.
Like every class has at least one or two specs that you can get rank one with. You just have to play the right comp and you have to wait for the right cues, basically. So it's the balance right now isn't as bad as a lot of people would say.
And as easy as it is to get a new class like geared up, like it takes. I mean, you can do it in a weekend. Like from like you
Yeah,
can. I mean, you may have to boost the character and pay for it or whatever, but like you could boost one in full gear in one weekend. It'd be good to go. You'll be
yeah.
a couple weeks behind, but I mean, honestly, you can get 2K without gear gear problems mattering. I mean, but I do see when I go on the forums and when I go on the subreddit, I don't see questions of how can I play better, like how can I synergize better, how can I do this mechanic or get these keybinds set up better. It's
Yeah.
like 90% what class is the best right now, or what comp is OP with my buddy's class. He plays a
Yeah.
resto druid, uh, but it's never about technical skills or
I think
I mean, the add-ons maybe, and that's about it.
I think part of that is just how easy it is to pick up a new class right now. Like even if you're not perfect at certain classes, as long as you have a decent idea of what you're doing, you can just excel at it if you play the right comp and you have the right cues, you know?
And it seems like the meta is like way more time consuming in this game too. And maybe not so much now because we're not going to have a patch for a while. But it seemed like, man, we would have a patch like every 2 months that
Yeah.
would drastically change the game. I mean, it would change the top five comps,
Yeah.
like their order of how good they are. I mean, it's a full time job just keeping up with that. I mean, if you're going to flavor of the month, you better just be ready to have
Better be
everything.
ready. Yeah.
Have you given any thought to Super Tees gives this one uh, like a solo queue for 2v2, 3v3, 5v5?
Um, who was I talking to about this? I was talking to somebody about that recently, and yeah, it's just like more stuff to do. I think like it's just another thing to do that gives people an option to get into arena and stuff if they don't want to be too tied down to a team.
Be a good way to meet partners.
Exactly,
I mean, it
yeah.
could literally basically be skirmishes with a rating and some kind of reward. Doesn't have to be a title system, but
Yeah.
some kind of reward system and a bracket. And I know you guys talked the other
No,
day
it's a
about
good way to practice too, where like you wouldn't have if you do terribly, like it's not the end of the world and
right.
stuff like that.
And I think you guys talked about like instead of rating, have like a percentage base, like a gold, diamond,
Yeah.
platinum, that kind of thing. And I mean, Blizzard does it in its other games. I mean, other than
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think the rating system, the rating ladder is like very outdated.
yeah, I do too. I mean, using that that chess ladder doesn't really make sense whenever you
Yeah,
have it. It's shifting so often.
yeah,
If you had no new seasons, I guess it would work, but then everybody would just be 4K. But
yeah.
what other things we have? Oh, the other thing I thought was really funny is every time something is crazy unbalanced or like silly happens in the game or somebody gets one shot, literally they just type out WAD,
Yeah,
WAD.
that's kind of a
Period.
joke. Yeah,
And I think like that joke is so embedded with this expansion right now that I don't even think there can be anything good come out of it, just because of the attitude that everybody
yeah,
has.
I know.
Just like fuck it, WAD.
I don't think it's nearly as bad as people say it is with WAD. Like how, like I don't know. Everyone complains so much about it, and it's like that. Honestly, I feel like it's like that every expansion. Like everyone bitches about it while you're in it, and they talk about the old expansions being so good, and then you go to the next one, and they immediately start talking about how good the other ones were. That's why I'm thinking, even though it's like kind of boring and like the skill caps are so low now, and it's very rock paper scissors. Like it's not if you think about it kind of unbiased, like objectively, it's not that bad because it's still everything can basically get high rated right now. So it could be worse, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I still have a whole lot of fun playing the game,
Exactly.
and I
Yeah.
remember, I remember everybody says, "Oh, Wrath of the Lich King." Oh, maybe you don't remember that they could drop Death and Decay and fear a whole team, and
I
it had no
hated I
DR.
did
And
not hate Wrath, yeah.
I
I
remember
honestly
I played Boomkin back in
I did too,
like
man.
all of that time, and then I remember the end of season 4, like right before Wrath came out, and Starfall was just AOE stun with no DR, and you just stun the whole everybody. It was so
And
fun.
PvE gear and PvP to me.
Yeah,
That's part of the reason I never got super serious until late, is because it just seems so time consuming to get best in slot and be able to compete.
yeah. I remember in the
That
end
just
of
seems dumb.
it is done. I remember at the end of Wrath, we were playing Boomkin Warrior Holy Paladin, and we were like 2300. We were really trying to push Glad that season, and we ended up like we couldn't go anywhere for weeks. And then all of a sudden, the warrior got that armor pin trinket that you get off,
Yeah, exactly.
and all of a sudden we went to like 2500, and we were like super close. And then he got hacked, and like the team got deleted,
And then he got hacked.
and then fuck my life, and
Yeah.
I stopped playing for a little bit. But I mean, we went way up just because of some silly PVE trinkets. So yeah,
I
I
think that
agree.
was in MoP where they like started putting a lot of emphasis on PvP gear being best in slot.
Yeah, definitely, definitely the case. I only
Yeah.
remember a couple of
Yeah,
things in
Kata, they had
MoP.
those legendary daggers and the Warlock thing, and yeah,
Yeah, and Warglaves back in the day, and
yeah,
there was some staff and Kata too.
yeah.
I remember it was pretty good. Yeah,
So it's yeah,
that's a huge improvement. Making gear like be PvP gear, and now even making gear not a thing. Like anybody just jump in, and you'll really be able to still see.
yeah.
You ought to be able to see skill level between people who have PVE'd forever and people who have PvP'd forever. At least I hope so. If you can't, that's gonna be sad, because it's a totally different aspect. And I have a couple friends who raid at mythic level, and they know that it's hard in its own way, and PvP is. But they all
Yeah.
say, "Well, I can clear everything on mythic, but I damn sure can't get glad." So I hope that stays, because since it's not scripted, and everybody says, "Well, it's scripted PvP now," but that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, anything else we can talk about?
Uh,
How do I feral druid?
how do you feral druid?
Mm.
Uh,
I watch you and I'm like, man, I do that. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know, man. You play around Incarn. When you don't have Incarn, you spam Cyclones. That's about it,
Mm.
honestly. It's pretty simple now.
Do you wish that like bleeds were more efficient than they were, and that burst was lower? I really like the style
Yeah,
when it was like
I
that.
um I loved the way Feral was designed in season 15, I guess. When like you didn't it wasn't around Incarn, you had your Trents, so I don't know, I loved how complex like the damage rotation was. And then you could spam Cyclones, but if you did it poorly, you'd get caught out of form and you could get CC'd with polys, or you could get stunned and just die instantly. So
Oh, now that I think about it, combo points are a big deal for rogues and
yeah, I like
paladins.
that change. I actually love that change. I
It's a
thought
yeah.
that was way too clunky in MOP, where your combo points stay on your target and you have no way of switching that.
It was definitely harder then, but yeah, I agree. It is.
Yeah.
It is a good change. So yeah, you can agree that having a high skill cap isn't always a good thing. Just in that example right there, on a
Yeah.
certain particular ability, not overall. But okay, well, do we have any questions in chat before we finish up here? I think we've had a.
There's a lot of talking, but I wasn't able to read a lot of it.
I think Elbereth is just yelling at people. He does that a lot. Oh yeah, I wanted to know how did you end up getting hooked up with Jelly Beans and Upsurge?
Um, I've been playing with them for a long time. Jelly, like in season 13 when I first got Glad, I was actually on his team with a few other people, and we were gonna push rank one, and I ended up deciding that I didn't want to play.
I think we may have lost him, boys and girls. I think we may have lost him. I'll give him here a few seconds. But I would like to take a minute here while I wait for him to go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor, Warsong Battalion, now sponsor of the Q-Pop podcast. And yeah, I think I really appreciate them coming, and we got hotted right here. So I'll go ahead and do all my in show stuff, my shout outs and everything. We'll let Walterbare do his when he gets back. We can ask me a few more questions, but I will go ahead. Shout out to Warsong Battalion. Be sure you can find us on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/q-pop-podcast. You can find us on iTunes. Be sure when you go to iTunes or to SoundCloud, if you listen to this, be sure to either like on SoundCloud or to give us 5 stars on iTunes. You can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, Podcast Addict, and Podbean, as well as you can find this on YouTube, unedited, raw, with everything here. The rest of the stuff will be edited slightly, but we're going to do a lot less editing from here on out. And I think that's a good thing. I think we want to give the listeners a real experience to come in here and take a look at that stuff. But I really appreciate everybody. You can type !shirts. You can see our shirts. If we get 5 pre-orders, we can go ahead and start a new campaign up. We sold 15 shirts the last time, and hope that we can do that again. My keyboard started typing P a lot, and I do have to pee, so that makes sense. We're bringing Walterbare back into the call right now.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Nice. Yeah, my Skype just does that every now and then. Sorry.
All good. So you're telling us how you got hooked up with
Oh yeah. Um, yeah, I was saying Jelly Beans, I had mutual friends that kind of introduced us. And yeah, so I've known him since season 13 when I first started taking PvP serious, I guess. He's been a friend since then too. And Absturge I met in season 14 just because I wanted a shaman to play with. Try and kitty cleave or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
What
So
about
I've known them both for a long time, long time.
what about Follow Esports? Did they approach you during this last BlizzCon beforehand? They're now Splice, but
Um, I'm not too sure how that worked. I think David D Machine, I think he was talking to them and they were asking him like what team should they sponsor or something like that, or like he just gave them a few teams that he thought they should sponsor. I'm not sure. It was something like that. David introduced us, I guess, though.
now I don't actually know much about Follow Esports / Splice. What other games do they have teams in?
They actually have a team in almost like every pro esport right now. They're taking it pretty serious. I think they're going to be pretty big in the next year or so. Like they'll be the next Cloud9 or something like that.
Yeah. I was curious about the name change. Like, Splice is definitely more catchy, and you get a logo with it. But Follow
Yeah.
Esports, I mean, it tells you exactly what it is. It doesn't beat around the bush at all.
Yeah,
Uh,
I liked Follow Esports. At first I didn't like it at all, but then it kind of grew on me and I was kind of disappointed they changed the name, but I think Splice might grow on me eventually. I don't know.
I mean, I like the
See.
logo, and it's good to be consistent and have something catchy
Yeah,
that
I
you
like
can
the logo
go
and
with it all
yeah,
day.
obviously, especially for people who want a team to follow, it's kind of nicer to say like cheer for Team Splice instead of teamfollowesports.com, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it sounds nice. Like Tempo Storm, Cloud9.
Yeah,
It sounds good.
exactly. That was the idea, I think.
So, are you excited about the new gaming league that's probably coming? I hope we have some kind of backed league by Blizzard. I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah.
After I mean, they hired the old CFO of MLG. They hired the old CEO of ESPN. Uh, I mean, it sounds like they're really getting serious. Like they're throwing some serious cash at all this stuff.
I'm sure they're focusing on their other games, you know, like HOTS and Overwatch and everything, but yeah, hopefully that'll end up working out and
I mean, if they're in
they'll,
charge,
they'll focus on WoW.
there's for sure some room for them to do that without it. I mean, costing them too much extra. I mean, if it's
Yeah.
their game, I mean,
Yeah.
World of Warcraft's still one of their. I mean, it might even still be their biggest game. Obviously,
I
not
think
the
it
arena
is right
stuff.
behind Hearthstone or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Hearthstone's pretty casually playing their phone and stuff, but I don't know.
Um,
I mean, I enjoy Hearthstone. I enjoy Heroes.
yeah,
I liked
I love Blizzard
Overwatch when
games.
I got to play it. I love StarCraft. I got big old
Yeah.
diamond in StarCraft. Thought I was best in the world. You know, I was probably the best white guy in Oklahoma for a while. That's for sure. Uh, I love all their games for the most
Yeah.
part.
Have you tried Overwatch?
Yeah, yeah. I got to play on the little. They had like a weekend, and I played.
Yeah.
I played then.
I love it. I'm loving it a lot. I think it's great.
It's exactly how I felt. I mean, I thought
Yeah.
it was total fun. I didn't even know what was going on in most games. Like I was just playing my class and learning the class, and like it
Yeah.
feels like you learn a little bit every game and you improve a little bit, and that's a big thing. I do think they need to add a little bit of a rank system, maybe something like Counter Strike has.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure they will too.
They said they're adding a
Yeah.
ladder, like kind
Uh,
of like a StarCraft ladder, is what they're
hmm.
basing it off of. And I think like a title or whatever you would call that, whatever they have in Counter Strike, like your I don't even know. I don't play enough Counter Strike. I'm
Yeah,
terrible.
I don't play enough either.
I got pretty drunk the other night and tried to play Counter Strike because I was asked to
I
on New Year's Eve on my stream. I had a
feel like
little
that's not the kind of game that's
no,
that fun when you're drunk.
no, no.
You just lose.
It was. I mean, it wasn't any different than when I was sober. I just died all the time. I had a really fun New Year's stream. We that was first. So I moved to my current community to take over a small business, and when I moved here, I was from a college town that had great internet. I moved here and it was like 10 megabytes down, one up. Like, you absolutely couldn't
Yeah.
stream anything. So I had to like cut off my stream that I was building. Couldn't even do that as a hobby. And then all of a sudden, here about a month ago, internet gets moved up from 10 down, one up to 150 down, and like 10 up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I could stream all of a sudden. And so only thing I could do was the podcast with no video. That's why I was excited to do video today because I got enough bit rate to actually push that through without lagging.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm able to, I don't even know where the hell I was going with all that. Oh, but then I did the New Year's stream, and it was like really my first real stream. And I had
Since you got
yeah, so,
update,
yes, it was my
the
first
upgrade.
real one that I pushed, and I had a drinking game smartly. Like if you donated $8, it would make me finish my drink plus chug the next drink. $5 was to finish my drink, and $2 was to drink 3 drinks. The first thing I get's $8. The second thing I get's $8, and it's like, oh shit! It was a fun New Year's Eve. I mean,
Yeah.
for sitting at home playing by myself.
I
But
should try doing something like that on my stream.
oh yeah,
See if it works.
people love that stuff, and I had a little like
Yeah.
donation thing up here above my cam that said baby spawn timer, and since we're having a kid in 10 days, and so this will be fun.
That's intense, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations, by the way.
thank you very much. We've
That's huge.
been together for a long time, so it's been
Yeah.
coming, but still, it's scary. Like
Yeah.
I felt the whole time like, oh, no time's passing at all. Oh, we're like 6 weeks in. Oh, we're 10 weeks in. And then now it's like, oh, there's 10 days left. I'm like, fuck, I'm scared to
Gonna be a
death.
father, man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
but the house is ready, and we have all the baby
Nice,
stuff we
nice.
need. I mean,
That's good.
it's all Hello Kitty'd out, stuff like that. So there's more pink in my house than there ever has been. Well, if you'd like to go ahead and give some shout outs and tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Um, yeah, just at spy_Walterbare on Twitter and twitch.tv/Wallebear. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for having me, man.
No problem. I really appreciate you coming on and being my
Yeah, no,
first new guest with my awesome new setup that I
it was an honor.
dumped a lot of money into. And thank you for all the follows, everybody that came here. I saw Elbereth, I saw Mercator, uh, let's see, GCD TV, a whole bunch of big guys that you would recognize from other places, and really appreciate all that. Thank you to my sponsor, Warsong Battalion. You can find me at Twitter at Rashivi or at QPop. You can email any questions or comments for next week to qpop@gmail.com. You can find us on SoundCloud or iTunes. Just search for the QPop Podcast. And you can find us on Stitcher or your favorite podcast app. We're on every single one. So just go ahead and check it out. And that will be edited out so that we don't hear things like Walterbare's Skype dying and me rambling for 2 minutes. But other than that, I really appreciate everybody that showed up. Thank you for the host so much. We really appreciate that. They got us a lot more views than we usually have. So thanks for queuing up, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Nice.